Hello everyone, good morning. How you all doing? It's Sal, Stretford Post, and welcome to Guys Breaking Dawn. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're doing fine. I hope everyone's had enough sleep. Of course, some people were up to the early hours of the morning watching the Manchester United versus Bournemouth annihilation. Of course, guys, I was up in the early hours and woke up about 4 o'clock, set my alarm, and I have to say it was worth it. When we turned on the TV or whatever we were turning on. When we turned it on and we saw the lineup, we were a little bit, a little bit down. Like, oh, what a boring team. What a boring lineup. It's the same team that played Tottenham Hotspur, apart from Mazraoui, etc., etc. But to be honest with you, Man United really did turn up this morning, wherever you want to say, of course, guys. And they did play very well. The one thing I was impressed about Manchester United this morning, is that they were very ruthless in front of goal for a change. Man United, ruthless in front of goal. Would you believe it? Unbelievable. Man United were good. Certain players really exerted themselves, really did well, in my opinion, and made a stake for a claim for the first team spot. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want competition for places. We want these players to succeed. That's what we're talking about. I know I'm not going to get overly zealous because it is just a friendly. We've been here before, as I said earlier on, that we've beaten the likes of Real Madrid in friendlies. I mean, you remember when we beat Real Madrid, wasn't it 4-1 or 4-0, something along those lines? When Martial done that mazy run all the way through. So don't read too much into it, but you also have to take some of the positives out of the game. You have to take some of the niceties out of football, and sometimes you have to look at it and think, yeah, there were some good performances in that game. I've done a poll, guys. I've done a poll in regards to who is your man of the match, guys, for the game against Bournemouth, of course. Who is your man of the match? There's a selection of players there, but that's not to say that you can't say who in your opinion, was the man of the match. In my view, the man of the match for me against Bournemouth was Mr. Patrick Dorgu. Absolutely superb last night. And also a big shout out to Diego Leon, of course, guys, who came on and absolutely did fantastically well. And he's another one that I'm incredibly excited about. Big up everyone who's joining me today. Thank you so much for joining this morning. Of course, some of you didn't get any sleep, but thank you, guys. You're absolute legends. Hope you're blessed. Of course, thank you so much. Big up Jamie. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. 4-1, not bad. We scored 6 goals of preseason now in the last 2 matches, but it's preseason. I want to see it in the league. Hopefully, Jamie, we will get that. And look, at the end of the day, all we can do is be what's in front of us. And at the end of the day, we can hope. It's the hope that kills you, as they say. As they say, it's the hope that kills you. But the way Man United are scoring goals in this preseason, I have to be a little bit positive, because at the end of the day, when we think about Ruben Amorim didn't have a preseason last season. This time he's got a preseason. There's nowhere to hide. There's a preseason. He can work with the players. And you know what? Hopefully, we're beginning to see signs of a proper Manchester United lineup, a proper Ruben Amorim team, if you know what I mean. Added a few players in that team, and I think we'll be all right. As I said yesterday, we are not that far away. We are not that far away from challenging. We are not. The fact is, the problem with Man United, what we've had is we haven't had a consistency. We haven't had a team. We haven't had a chance to build chemistry. And there's also a lot of players in that lineup from different eras and stuff, which is a bit of a mismatch. But now I'm starting to see a Ruben Amorim type of team. You're starting to see it. And when you add Mbeumo and Cunha in that team, it does get a little bit exciting. You have to be a little bit enthusiastic about it because, this is going to be better than last season. It really is. I do feel that. Big up, Randall. How you doing, my friend? You legend. Hope you're doing well. Once that Højlund has to go, is quick and not instinctive. Definitely going to get into that because at the end of the day, there's a lot of rumours going around Højlund. Rasmus Højlund scored yesterday, got a little flick on the cross. Brilliant cross from Patrick Dorgu, of course. Patrick Dorgu, man of the match for me again. What I would say is that, he had a little goal yesterday, which should be good for his confidence. But again, there's something missing about Rasmus Højlund. I don't know what it is. There's something there. Maybe he's trying too hard. I've seen him running a lot. I've seen him putting a lot of effort in. He does put a lot of effort in. Fair play to him. He puts a lot of effort in. He runs a lot. He runs the channels. He tackles. He tracks back. He's a good professional. I have to give him that. And he's always fit. This is something you have to give him praise for because at the end of the day, there's certain people within our squad who are never fit. You know what I mean? And Rasmus Højlund has always been fit and available. Unfortunately for Rasmus Højlund, he's been thrown into a team that is incredibly toxic. incredibly not ready, and he's been expected to score lots of goals in a team that doesn't really create, in a team that doesn't really score goals. And you know what? I would say that it is a mixture of both things. You have to help yourself. You have to take accountability for yourself, as well as, getting look, strikers need goals, I would say. And he needs to get some goals on the board, definitely. And that goal today would only help him. Good morning, Sanjay. How's your travels? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Done and dusted. We are lean and mean. Big up, done and dusted. Well, it helped last night, didn't it, at the end of the day? Eric, good morning, Sal. Watching from South Africa. Hope you wrap up SESKO this week. Hopefully, Eric, let's get into that. Manchester United are very close to signing Benjamin Šeško. Benjamin Šeško yesterday, of course, basically said that Manchester United is the club he wants. Newcastle is the club he needs, but Manchester United is the club he wants. At the end of the day, basically what that means is that Newcastle have what he wants, but Manchester United are the club he wants. So basically, Yanag Fjortov came out yesterday. I don't know if you know Yanag Fjortov. He's a guy who used to, he still does. He's a pundit on ESPN FC, and he also used to play for Swindon Town. So he basically said, Benjamin Šeško, Newcastle have what he wants, but Manchester United is what he wants. So basically he's saying that Man United is a team that he will go to, he wants to go to, despite of Champions League football, which is really good news. So Man United have entered discussions with Benjamin Šeško's entourage, of course, which hopefully should be sorted out very, very quickly, as Man United want to get the deal done sharpest. Now, there was obviously rumours about Rasmus Højlund being used as a make-weight in regards to the deal for Benjamin Šeško. Rasmus Højlund was offered to RB Leipzig, but apparently Rasmus Højlund does not want to leave Manchester United and wants to stay and fight for his place, even if Benjamin Šeško signs for Man United. Now, fair play. Fair play. If he wants to stay, then that's great. But my biggest thing for Rasmus Højlund would be that, mate, you know what? For your career, I would leave, because at the end of the day, Benjamin Šeško would be the first team player. But if he wants to fight for his place, he's going to have to fight for his place. And when he plays, he's going to have to prove himself. This is the whole thing about having players that elevate you. Even if it's not an experienced player like Ollie Watkins, it's someone like Šeško, he's going to elevate you because you've got competition. So far too often over the last few years, Man United haven't had competition for places. They haven't had anyone who can fight, keep them on their toes. We all know what happened with Ronaldo and Messi over the years when Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, they elevated each other. They fought against each other. And this is what Man United need within our team right now. We need players to elevate each other, And I feel like if Rasmus wants to stay, I'm going to support him. If he has to leave, he has to leave at the end of the day. My biggest thing is that Man United might force Rasmus out the door. Rasmus has been offered to RB Leipzig. Honestly, can I be honest with you guys? Why don't Man United do this? Why don't Man United get Benjamin Šeško and give Rasmus Højlund on loan and see how Rasmus Højlund does at RB Leipzig? If Rasmus Højlund goes and scores lots of goals, it's funny that this is happening though, isn't it? Because the other day I said, how would Rasmus Højlund fare in the Bundesliga at RB Leipzig? I did say that on the short video, and lo and behold, here we are. Rasmus Højlund could be going to RB Leipzig, maybe, But I do feel for Rasmus Højlund. He's a good person, on the human side. That I feel for him. But at the end of the day, Man United need goals. He is only 22, 23 years old, so we still have to keep that into account. It wouldn't be a bad idea to send Rasmus Højlund off on loan to Leipzig, and we bring in Benjamin Šeško. Although I would stress that Man United do need players for a squad. I know we're not playing as many games next season, no European football, but it's always good to have players there who can play their part in regards to the FA Cup, the League Cup, etc. So we have to think about that as well, and keeping people fit and on their toes, of course, guys. And you never know what happens with injuries, especially with Man United. We're really bad at injuries, of course, guys. Having watched the game yesterday, saw a glimpse of Chido Obi Martin. My biggest thing with Chido Obi Martin, and I've got huge hopes of Chido Obi Martin, I've got huge hopes for him, is that he's a little bit of Bambi on ice at the moment. Every time he gets the ball, it sort of bounces off him, and that he looks a little bit clumsy. You know what I mean? But that happens when you're a young player. I don't quite think Chido is ready yet, but you know what? It's too early to tell. He does need more football. I want to see more of him in this preseason. I would have liked him to start this game, of course, guys. And hopefully he will play a little bit more of a part against Everton, of course. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. One thing is that I'm really excited to see Mbeumo and Cunha playing together with whoever striker plays up front. I'm really excited to see those two playing in those two number 10 positions, guys. Now, look, in regards to Rasmus Højlund and Benjamin Šeško, there's no substitute for having strikers. You can't have too many strikers. It's always good to have a striker on the bench, a striker that, he's been around the block. For example, Rasmus Højlund's been at Man United, played 100 games for Man United, over 100 games for Man United. So at the end of the day, it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep Rasmus Højlund at the football club and have Benjamin Šeško as that focal point as a striker, of course, guys. Now, Benjamin Šeško is saying all the right things in regards to signing for Manchester United. Of course, he's very close with Christopher Vavell. There's photos, there's everything. They've worked with each other before. They've known each other for a while. But Manchester United have been tracking Šeško since he was 16 years old, guys. They've been tracking him since then. So, this whole Šeško situation is nothing new. Man United have been aware of Benjamin Šeško for a very long time. Scouts have scouted Šeško for a very long time. I think Man United were just ignored. The scouts were just ignored in regards to whether they should sign Šeško or not. But we were calling to sign Šeško 2 years ago. A long time ago, we were calling to sign Benjamin Šeško because obviously we knew his talent. Now, Benjamin Šeško, a lot of people are going to paint him with the Rasmus Højlund brush. He's just like Rasmus Højlund. It's the same thing. It's a risk. In football, in life in general, you have to take risks, guys. I really do feel like you have to take risks. And if you're going to make things happen, you're going to have to try things. And I think that Benjamin Šeško would be a very exciting addition to Manchester United Football Club. Now, as I said many times over the last couple of days, if someone told you before the pre-season, Man United will sign Cunha, Mbeumo and Šeško, what would you say about that? How would you feel? If someone said that, I want to know your guys' opinion, because what would you say if someone offered you this chance to sign Mbeumo, Cunha and Šeško before the pre-season? Would you be happy with that? Or would you be like, nah, it's not enough? Guys, absolutely. Big up, Grayo. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Hope you're well. Couldn't catch the game as I had to go to work this morning. Just watched the highlights and they look good. Hope this is going to be the benchmark. Hopefully, brother. Hopefully. Good to see you, Grayo. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. David says, Dorgu was good today. Only negative is that he didn't pass again into a muck Rasmus, so he almost getting there. David says, you got to give him a chance, mate. At the end of the day, I told you about Dorgu. Dorgu's going to be a world-class left back. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a guy who watched Roberto Carlos' career all the way, that he's showing me signs of a Roberto Carlos type of player. Not only him, as is Diego Leon as well. Just look at Diego Leon, the way Diego Leon plays, the way he gets that ball, and he's already off on the run, of course, guys. So, look, you've got to give a guy a chance. He created a goal. Come on, David Zaz. Give him his corn, for crying out loud. I know you don't like him. Šeško might get wrapped up before next week, hopefully. Guys, this is the place to... Jamie, I break the news, right? But this is the place to break it, of course. This is the place to tune into in regards to transfers, in regards to SESKO, of course, guys. What I would say is that, hopefully it will be done. It's depending on how the talks go. Obviously, we're in the early stages of the talks. Obviously, there's going to be negotiation. Man United have negotiated their first bid in regards to bringing in SESKO. There has been offers on the table, for example, the Rasmus Højlund scenario, where they have been offered Rasmus Højlund. This is where the news came from. And remember, yesterday I spoke about the bid, and then people say, we haven't bid. We haven't bid. Day before yesterday it was, we haven't bid. And there you go. Man United have offered Rasmus Højlund as an option. But that is not the only option that Man United have offered, of course. Man United will most likely do a deal with RB Leipzig, similar to what they've done with Mbeumo, which will be an installment plan. Now, I hope that this doesn't take too long, because Man United need a striker in before the Arsenal game. Do I feel that a striker would be in before the Arsenal game? I probably think he'll be on the bench. If I'm being realistic, I probably think the Arsenal game is a little bit too soon for the striker to come in and play. Now, that is where we wanted a quick, efficient transfer window, isn't it? When we move on from SESKO, we're going to have to concentrate on the midfield. And obviously, there are a lot of midfielders who Man United are linked to, i.e. Baleba. A lot of people want Baleba as well. Wharton is another one. But I am starting to get very impressed with the likes of Ugarte and Mainu, who made big differences when they came on this morning, of course. So we have to bear that in mind. But I wouldn't say no to another midfield signing, of course, guys. There were a number of players out there who played relatively well. Obviously, Ahmad did well for periods of the game, scored a goal as well. There's also, obviously, Ethan Williams, who came on, guys, and scored a goal, which is great for the lad, young lad. It's always good to see young players scoring, of course. David says, United are a big deal, even friendlies at packed stadiums. So I know, mate. I mean, at the end of Man United are a different animal. Good morning, Albert. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. And good morning again, Asif. How you doing, my friend? friend. Really good to see you. Hope you're feeling well. Hope you got some rest, mate. Hope you're blessed. Jamie, it basically means a game over Newcastle. I told you, Jamie. What did I say, Jamie, yesterday? What did I say? Look, you know what? Even if Man United sign SESKO, Isaac could still go to Liverpool. And this is the one thing I will say. I know we're all concerned about Isaac going to Liverpool. Isaac's a fabulous player. But look, football doesn't deal with absolutes. It might not work at Liverpool. You never know, guys. We have to keep that hope. It might not work. The signings that Liverpool bring in, it might not work. It just might not work. Isaac might go to Liverpool and flop. You never know, guys. But SESKO going to Man United doesn't automatically mean that Isaac's going to stay at Newcastle United. As much as Newcastle United will want to keep hold of Isaac, Newcastle United can't do much about a player that wants to leave. And it's quite obvious that Isaac wants to leave. Isaac was sent home from training, of course, guys. So that is quite interesting. That is one to look out for going forward. But SESKO signed for Man United. Again, another player rejecting Newcastle United. You see this, let me tell you something about Newcastle. Newcastle will never be Manchester United. They will never be Manchester United. And this is the thing. We could be in our worst period in our history, and we still can attract good players. That is the positive about being a Man United fan at the moment. Of course, we want to start winning trophies. Of course, we want to start winning leagues. And you know what? I'm looking at Man United, and I actually don't think Man United are miles away. I actually think that Man United are a few players here and there away from actually challenging for the top 4, top 3, even the top 2, in my opinion. But we have to stay steady. Obviously, Luke Shaw did say that, we can win the league. That's good to hear. I say that. That's good to hear. So a little bit of positivity is always good to hear. I know that a lot of people are going to think, oh, you're delusional. But it is good to hear. It's good to hear that they are aiming to win the league. Because at the end of the day, whether you think it's realistic or not, Man United should always be aiming to win the league. We shouldn't be saying, we're going to win the league then. We're going to win the league then. We should be like, we're going to try and win the league now. You know what I mean? Even no matter how unrealistic it is, we need to try it at least. Good morning, Chadiga. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Hope, good to see you again. It's the hope. Absolutely, that's the word of the day. Hi, Sal. Today's game, I think. Big up. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're well, of course. No chance. I'm starting him over SESKO. Who's that? No chance I am starting him over SESKO. Oh, who's that? Rasmus Højlund. Without Mboma and Cunha, what a game. I mean, absolutely, Chadiga. This is the thing that we need to be positive about. When Mboma and Cunha come into that team, it's going to be absolute fire, isn't it? You can imagine, and it's going to help the forward as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I'm really looking forward to seeing SESKO up front with both Cunha and Mboma. It excites me. It really does. It actually excites me more than it would do if I saw Ollie Watkins or something like that up front, with Mboma and Cunha. It would be exciting, of course, guys. Absolutely. Chandiga, if they kept mentality, will do something amazing this season. Chandiga, you know what? I said it yesterday. Football is about confidence. Football is about consistency and chemistry, right? And confidence can go a long way. We know what happened with Leicester City when they won the league. Anything can happen in football. You never know. Winning is contagious. Like losing is contagious. Winning is also contagious. Winning is addictive, and so is losing. So when you start winning games, you get that confidence, you get that camaraderie between each other. You never know what can happen in football. Football is a funny game, as they say. Football is a funny game. You never know what's going to happen. And you know what? It might just, something special might just happen, of course. Absolutely. Jamie. Leon was a good last night. Dorgu was quality again. 2 quality left backs, Jamie. Now, what are we going to do with Malacia? What are we going to do with Amas? What are we going to do with Luke Shaw? That's the biggest question. Are we going to loan them out? Is Luke Shaw going to stay? I think Luke Shaw will stay. Luke Shaw's not going to go anywhere. I don't think anyone's going to take a risk on Luke Shaw, given his injury record and stuff like that. I don't think anyone's going to take a risk on Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw will probably play in the back 3 sometimes, of course. The jury's still out on, obviously, Licha Martinez. Licha Martinez will be back in September, of course. So let's see what happens with Licha Martinez. But one thing I want to also stress, I want to also point out, is that Aiden Heaven looks an absolute monster in that defense. He just looks made to play for Manchester United, as is Lenny Yoro. We got 2 defenders there. Guys, 2 defenders, 2 centre-backs right there who are going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, right, going to be in the centre-back positions for Manchester United for many, many years to come. And I'm excited about that, guys. I really am. I really am looking forward to seeing that, Consistency again, having 2 players there that are going to be the main sets. Our Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce is our Yoro, and obviously Aiden Heaven. I can't wait to see it, of course, guys. It's going to be amazing, of course. And a big shout out to Fredrickson and players like that who have come through and who are doing well in their development and stuff. And Kulungi, of course. Asif, Sal, Højlund can be the next Ole come on. If he elevates his game, the point is he wants to stay and isn't what he wants, a player who wants to play for United. A loan move is not bad, though. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Asif, is a big comparison. Chicha is different sort of player, in my opinion. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a completely different player. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer arrived at Man United very young, 24 years old, roughly. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was an absolute gunman from the start. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. I do agree with you that he can be, in regards to substitute, as if I agree, he can be that guy who come off the substitutes bench and score some goals. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the greatest substitute of all time, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? The man would come on the pitch and score 4 goals in 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So what I would say is that, yeah, he can be our Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of thing. He can be a substitute player. A loan isn't a bad move. But what I would say is this, if Man United are not going to sign anyone else, Asif, why can't we keep Rasmus Højlund? Because at the end of the day, if SESKO gets injured, who are we going to play up front? I'm looking at it, Asif, and I don't know how you feel about this. I'm looking at it, and I don't think Chido's quite there yet. I'm looking at Chido, and I'm thinking, I hope he scores. I hope he does well. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of him in the team. I would have liked him to start this today, of course. But you know what? Look, it's no substitute, as I said, for having more strikers in the squad, of course. Good morning, Mark. Again, hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Dorgu is becoming one of my favorite players. Big up, Jamie. There you go. I'm glad to hear it, of course. Sal, do you think we have got Everett in Dorgu? I think we got a great player in Dorgu, Asif. One thing I don't do is I don't want to jump. I never jump because I think that if that resonates to the player, it can add extra pressure on the player. Patrice Evra is a phenomenal player. The best left back to ever play for Man United, in my opinion, was Dennis Irwin. The best left back in the last 30 years, in my opinion, up there as the top 2, in my opinion, left backs in the world. Dennis Irwin was the best. He does remind me of Dennis Irwin. He does. He really does remind me of Dennis Irwin. If you watch Dennis Irwin, and I feel like he's going to be a good player. And I don't understand the criticism. I mean, the guy had 6 months at Man United, came in mid-season and stuff like that. I really don't understand the criticism. Bloody hell. Give the guy a full season, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? But really excited about it. Absolutely. We don't need to rush it. Yeah, look, Man United, we have a habit of doing it to ourselves. We get overexcited about players. I don't get overexcited. I'm very experienced watching Man United, guys. Do you know what I mean? I'm very experienced watching football in general. Do you know what I mean? From Hearts of Oak in Ghana all the way to FC Tokyo in Japan. I'm very experienced in watching football, and I know that when to react, when not to react, not to overreact, to call things as they are. I never call crap, and I call things as they are. I praise people as they are. And, one thing I would say is that Dorgu is his own individual, and hopefully if he becomes half as good as Patrice Evra or Dennis Irwin, then you know what? That would be a magnificent player that we have in our hands, of course. But absolutely, I love the positivity, Asif. I do enjoy talking to Asif because you know what? He does have a lot of positive things to say, which is good sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It's good to have a much more fresher, positive outlook on football because there's a lot of misery out there, and there's a lot of people out there who are causing a lot of toxic obviously environments within our fan base, of course. Sunday game, Dorgu and Mbeumo is coming into the team. Mount will be benched. Need the proper Premier League team to duel before Arsenal. I agree. We need to get this team together for at least a couple of times to try and get the camaraderie, getting the chemistry going between the players, of course. Obviously, Mbeumo's never played for Man United yet. Cunha's had a couple of games. It would be great to see Cunha and Mbeumo there for the first time. I think this is very important, as Asif stresses here. I think this is very important. I think it's very important that Man United get these two players together at least a couple of times before the Arsenal game, because at least subconsciously getting to know their game, you know what I mean, a little bit, at least a little bit. We need to do that. If Amram doesn't do that, I'll be questioning it hugely. But obviously, it does depend on fitness, of course. Of course, Cunha didn't play yesterday. He was fatigued, apparently. Big up, Albie. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you in the stream. Really good to see you, of course, again, of course, my friend. Guys, hi, Sal. Big up, Hope. I think today we've seen a glimpse of Amram's game. If the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo bring up their game, we can improve with the addition of a striker. I really do believe that, Hope. And it is the hope. And your name is Hope, of course, guys. I really do believe that. I think that, with the addition of the striker and obviously with Mbeumo and Cunha, look, even if Man United didn't sign anyone, there's no overemphasizing how important a proper preseason is. A proper preseason is the make or break. Alex Ferguson used to always bang on about a proper preseason. You know, back in the day, he used to bang on about a proper preseason. We need a proper preseason. Need to get the players match fit. You know, and that is so important. And I'm really excited to see how Amram shapes up. At the moment, it is looking pretty good. It's looking good. But we also have to remember that it's just a friendly. But the last 2 games have looked pretty tasty, in my opinion. But as we said there, as I said, I say it again, it is just a friendly. Let's hope. And as we have had good friendlies in the past. We've had beaten the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona and teams like that in the past. And you know what I would say is that hopefully this is transformed into the first game of the season against Arsenal. Absolutely. Alba. It's good to move for United to sign SESKO. Absolutely, Alba. Big up, Alba. Hope you're doing well, of course. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Asif, our first trophy is coming on Sunday. Cunha and Dorgu's Ahmed should play for Man U game against the combination. Momentum on. Absolutely, Asif. As I was stressing there, it is spot on. At this point, who hasn't rejected Newcastle? I don't know. I don't know why. Guys, can I just say something again? People are talking about SESKO being overpriced again, and no one is mentioning about how Liverpool has spent 300, 400 million on players. No one is mentioning how Ekitike is overpriced. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no one's mentioning that. No one, you know, and SESKO is not overpriced. SESKO is the market value, and SESKO will be a great addition to Manchester United. No one is also mentioning about what a poor window Newcastle United are having. No one is mentioning what a poor window Tottenham Hotspur are having as well, of course, guys. So Thomas the Tank Engine, Tutu, of course. Absolutely. No one is mentioning them. You know what I mean? And I feel like all the attention is on Man United. Every single time. It's Man United. The attention is on Man United. Let's talk about Man United. Man United pay too much. Man United not signing any players. Man United. The whole time. You know what I mean? Liverpool has spent more than anyone, as they always do. And I would argue that with anyone. Liverpool spent more than Man United during the 90s. During Alex Ferguson's period, Liverpool spent more than Man United. You know, so anyone who tells you that, oh, what, Alex Ferguson just spent money, it's a lie at the end of the day. Dabizas was the game on G-Ho Star. Big up, Roy. Hope you're doing well. Don't know what that is, but big up yourself. Good morning. Do you think if they sign SESKO, Højlund will leave? I don't know, Ephraim. I don't know. One thing I would say is that Man United have been talking about letting Rasmus Højlund go. And there is obviously conflicting stories. There's stories about Rasmus Højlund wanting to stay at Man United. There's also stories about Rasmus Højlund wanting to leave. The biggest story yesterday is that Man United were going to do a deal with Benjamin Sesko with Rasmus Højlund going the other way. How likely do I think that is going to happen? Very unlikely. I don't think Rasmus Højlund is going to leave Manchester United on his own, willy-nilly. I don't think he's going to go on his own accord, in my humblest of opinions. I think Rasmus Højlund wants to fight for his place, and he will try and fight for his place. But if he's forced out of the club, if the club want to sell him, then that's a different story, of course. You know what? He ain't got a leg to stand on. He will have to leave. I do feel, however, I did say it, that RB Leipzig, if RB Leipzig want to give us Benjamin Sesko, send Rasmus Højlund on loan to RB Leipzig, and obviously they could pay a little bit of his wage. They're getting a player there. We're getting Benjamin Sesko, and everyone wins at the end of the day. And obviously Rasmus Højlund will get a chance to reignite his career at RB Leipzig. I honestly think that would be a great move for Rasmus Højlund. I really do. Something like that, somewhere where he can elevate himself and get some goals and get that confidence. Because confidence is what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Bummer, I missed it. Big up, my friend. Exams. Hope you're doing well in your exams, my friend. Hope your exams going really well, of course. SLD, big up, my friend. Rasmus heard about SESKO, decides to score a header. You know what I mean? This is the whole thing, what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? This is the whole thing about players elevating each other. Man United needed a squad to elevate each other. We all know about Luke Shaw, isn't it? Why do you think Luke Shaw's fit all of a sudden? He's got bloody Dorgu and Diego Leon fighting for that space. So you know that Luke Shaw is going to be fit for the majority of the season this season, because he knows that there's two players right there who are very capable of playing in those positions, in the left back, wing back, whatever position. Guys, you know what? Luke Shaw needs to really, really wake up now, because you know what? We got two very good left backs there, and he's going to have to work hard to get back into that team. Also, it is international year. The World Cup is at the end of the year. Bloody hell, the World Cup already. Time flies. I remember the Qatar World Cup. But the World Cup is at the end of the year. And you know what? Luke Shaw's going to be wanting to vie in for that World Cup. He's going to want to be in that World Cup squad. Definitely, of course. Coco, the addition, the subtraction of certain player, certain type mentality is paying off. Coco, exactly, mate. It's not only about players coming in, it's also about the players that are leaving, fixing the mentality, fixing the culture at this football club, which was well needed. We needed that. We needed certain players to leave this football club. We really do. Of course, Sancho not being there, not bringing Sancho to this tour. In other years, Man United would have brought Sancho anyway, would have brought Garnacho anyway. This year, they ain't even in the squad. So that shows you that they don't want any disruptions. They don't want any noises around the squad. They want to concentrate on football. Garnacho and Sancho quite obviously leaving the football club. Who comes in is another thing, which is very interesting as well. A goalkeeper looks likely to come in. And speaking of the goalkeeper, Man United are heavily linked to Seny Lamens. Seny Lamens, of course, who was first mentioned on Stretford Post about a year ago. Very talented Belgian player, of course, who I feel will be the next Petr Cech, will be the next Courtois. A very decent, capable goalkeeper who I feel that Man United could possibly go for. In regards to Donnarumma is in the name. It is a rumour. Manchester United are interested in Donnarumma, but no one has made a solid approach for Donnarumma yet, of course, guys. So that Donnarumma deal could be put on the shelf for now. No one has made a bid for Donnarumma yet. There is Chelsea interested in Donnarumma, and Manchester United are interested in Donnarumma. But at the moment, I feel like that is like a pipe dream at the moment. I mean, it is a possibility that could possibly happen that Donnarumma comes to Man United. But it is a dream at the moment. He is the perfect goalkeeper. Of course, he's the best goalkeeper in the world, in my opinion. He is the best goalkeeper in the world. But no one has made an approach for Donnarumma as of yet, of course. And Donnarumma hasn't signed a contract with PSG yet, and he could still leave. It does look like that Donnarumma will leave PSG, if to be honest with you. For whatever reason, he's leaving there. He's won the Champions League, and maybe he wants another challenge, of course, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Asif. 25 likes. Come on, guys. Smash the likes. Thank you so much, Asif. Yeah, we got 127 online, guys. Please don't forget. I should have 127 likes in theory, shouldn't I? Guys, please don't forget to smash a like. We're well on our way to 13,000 subscribers. And you know what? We're going to be 20,000 before Christmas, guys. So that is what we want to do. We want to get to 20,000 before Christmas, of course. Thank you, everyone who supports the channel, including the great Asif Barber, of course, my friend. So do you think that we will sign another player after striker? I can only hope, Ephraim. It depends how long Man United take to sign a striker. And it also depends what happens with RASMUS and Sancho. It does look likely that Sancho's going to leave Manchester United, although it's not in the realms of impossibility that Sancho stays at Manchester United, to run down his contract. That could quite possibly happen as well. But it does look like Garnacho will leave Manchester United. He does want to stay in the Premier League. There's links with Chelsea, of course. There was links with Aston Villa, but Chelsea is looking the most potent in regards to Garnacho at the moment. I would much prefer Garnacho to leave and go abroad, but if he wants to stay in the Premier League, as long as the money is correct, because at the end of the day, when you're looking at the valuation of Garnacho, is absolutely disgraceful. Garnacho is not a 40 million euro player. Garnacho is a 60, 70 million euro player minimum. Guys, and I'm telling you right now, if Gittens, who plays in the Bundesliga, is worth 55 million, what is Garnacho worth at the end of the day? We got to stop shortchanging ourselves. Garnacho, if Chelsea want Garnacho, and Garnacho's going to play for Chelsea, and I bet you Garnacho plays well for Chelsea, if Garnacho goes to Chelsea, they're going to have to pay top dollar for him. We pay 50 million for a cripple, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? In Mason Mount. So at the end of the day, if Chelsea want Garnacho, they're going to have to pay for Garnacho. And that is with every other football club in Europe. In particular, the Premier League, because at the end of the day, when we sell players to the Premier League, we are taking a risk. That can come back to bite us on the backside, and doing things like that. Sancho looks likely to go to Juventus. Obviously, Juventus are looking at selling Timo Weah and, a couple of other players there. And also, Man United have to sort out a severance deal with Jadon Sancho in regards to him leaving, guys. Absolutely. Jamie, 4-1, what the hell? 6 goals in 2 pieces of game. If we can consist in the league, that's all I want. Come on, Jamie. Let's hope so, my friend. Let's hope so. Is it our medical team that are delaying a new player starts? Casemiro and others were delayed. Ten Hag, Amram is doing it now. I mean, I don't know. I think it could be possibly our medical team. Obviously, when we look at Cunha, Cunha obviously was fatigued yesterday. His wife had a baby, so we have to look at that as well. Obviously, a lot of pressure, a lot of things in your head and stuff going around and around. Fair play to Cunha for coming on the tour because he did have the baby. Well, his wife had the baby before the tour started. So fair play to him. In regards to Mbeumo is not, Mbeumo's been off for a few weeks. He's just got back into training, so obviously he has to be fit. We cannot risk any injuries, of course. We can't risk any injuries. But as was already declared, Mbeumo will play the last game against Everton, and I'm looking forward to seeing that game again with Mbeumo in the team, of course, and Cunha, of course. So let's wait and see what happens in regards to that. Of course, guys. That's I just want good football. Also, me too, brother. I hope you're well. Sal, thoughts on the midfield yesterday, Casemiro? I felt Casemiro was a little bit slow, done and dusted. Big up, done and dusted. I thought Casemiro was a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic. As I said many, many times over the last few months, I feel like Casemiro is not really a first-team starter anymore. I think he's too slow. I think, and in the Premier League, what is potent in the Premier League is pace. And I think that in that midfield at the moment, we're too slow. I think we're too slow, in my opinion, and we're crying out for a Baleba. We really are. We're crying out for Adam Walton, that type of player. But I think Casemiro has been a fantastic player over the years. Casemiro has been an absolute generational CDM over the years, an absolute brilliant player over the years. And I would say that, you know what, I wish him all the best, but it does look like he'll be at Man United next season, and he will be playing for Man United next season. But I felt he was slow yesterday, controlled the game. Don't get me wrong, controlled the game, was pretty, he was all right. But, you know, when it comes to the nitty-gritty, you know, where the game gets fast in the Premier League, you know what? He comes a little bit wanting sometimes. Big up, Hesty. Hey, this is my 60 to 70 million. Hesty, the price will be for old SESKO, of course. You know, Man United will quite possibly do an installment plan, as they did with Mbeumo, or paying about 20, 30 million a year. And obviously add incentives on that, where the deal will go up to 70, 72 million, obviously with interest and stuff like that, because Man United want to do it in installments. But yeah, look, it is about that price. It is going to be about that. I do believe that his release clause is about 60, 63 or something around that area. So look, you know, Man United might do an installment plan, which obviously paying more overall, of course. I think after the striker, we need a goalkeeper before they think about midfielder. I agree with Chandinga here. I actually agree with Chandinga. I think that we do need a goalkeeper. I think we're desperate for a goalkeeper. As you saw yesterday, the game, Heaton done very well yesterday. Heaton was one of the matches, in my opinion. And by the way, the poll at the moment in regards to man of the match, let me have a look. Is it still there? Oh goodness me. Where are we? Let's have a look. The poll at the moment is 85% are saying Dorgu was the man of the match yesterday. 85%. Yeah, I can't argue with that, to be honest with you. But Heaton did very well yesterday, and I was very impressed with Heaton yesterday. Good morning, Dembo. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. When we made the change, I thought the pace had slowed down a bit. I think it went up a couple of notches. Let's put 3 or 4 goals past the Scousers at the weekend. Come on, my guy. Come on. Absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely. I agree with that. Asif. So we need a stop gifting goals. I agree. Stop our backline getting it. We have monster backline now. Slabhead seems to surplus, but we need it up front sometimes. I mean, at the end of the day, look, you know what? One thing about Slabhead is that he's always there to do a job. He's always there to do to come on when we need him. I do feel, however, that our best defense is Euro, Aiden Heaven, and Delict. I think those 3 are absolute monsters, mate. Although I know that Mazraoui is going to walk back into that team. I do know Mazraoui is fantastic as well. I forgot about Mazraoui. Mazraoui is fantastic as well. And I do think that Mazraoui will walk back in that team, in my opinion. He really will, in my humblest of opinions, of course. So, right wing back will be a worry. I do not think Dalot and Ahmad are good enough. Look, Ephraim, I'll be honest with you. And I'm going to be honest with everyone in this stream. I like Ahmad as an attacking player. Ahmad as a defensive player, when you look at the goals that Man United concede, it's on that side, because Ahmad is not a defensive player. I would like to see Mantato given a chance in that area. He can play the right wing back position, but I just don't think that Ahmad has the ability to bomb up and down that field, backwards and forwards. I don't think he has the athleticism. I don't think he has the defensive brain. You know, the defensive brain. Ahmad is basically an attacking player. And playing him in the right wing-back position, I don't think it's the right thing to do. What Man United need in that position is the likes of a Vanderson. Should have been the likes of a Frimpong, which is obviously at Liverpool now. That is what Man United need. At the moment, we're caught with 2 things. We're caught with an attacking player and a 2 defensive player. We've got Dalot, who's just a full-back. He's a right-back. He's not a right wing-back. He's a right-back. And we've got Ahmad, who is a winger, an attacker. So what Man United need is something in between that. They needed obviously a Vanderson, or Wesley's gone to Roma, of course. They needed someone like that who can bomb up and down that field, you know, put crosses in and things like that, of course. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jamie.
SESKO £69 million. That's the Sky Sports. A little bullshit. Rupert Murdoch owns Sky Sports. He's been seen as asked for years towards. They're not getting the information correct, Jamie. This is what they do. They always add a few million onto the price tag that Man United actually are bidding for. Man United want SESKO. It will be about 60, 70 million, but Man United will probably pay about 60 million. Pays release clause plus a little bit extra because we want to pay it in installments. That's what's going to happen, guys. You know what what these media outlets like to do. They like to talk a lot of rubbish about Man United, what we're doing in the market, how much we're paying too much. Didn't they say that Mbeumo is going to get 250 grand a week and stuff like that, rubbish like that and stuff? And they started making up all these scenarios. Newcastle United fans, including Mr. Crooks, who is a Newcastle United journalist, were talking about Mbeumo and raising the price and saying that Newcastle couldn't get Mbeumo because Man United paid more money. No, Newcastle didn't get Mbeumo because Man United are Man United and Newcastle are Newcastle. Newcastle have been in Division 1 the last 20 years, so they need to get in their place and know their role and know where they should be in their lane. Of course, guys, that's what I would say. So there's always going to be that with Man United. There's always going to be that exaggeration that we're paying money and this and that. I want to know where this energy is for Liverpool. If Man United went out there and spent 150 million euros on Florian Wirtz and spent 400 million all overall during this transfer window, I would like to see how the media would be reacting right now. They'd be probably having a fit right now, talking about how Man United are buying the league and stuff and wasting money and things like that at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So, especially the fact that Liverpool lost a couple of games recently in the friendlies and Newcastle are losing against minnows in their friendlies as well. So why don't they concentrate on that? That's all I'm saying. Roy Atletico, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. My nation's football team was shitter than Man U last season. Well, who's your nation's football team, mate? Who's your nation? Well, who is your nation, mate? Tell me. I don't know. Chandinga, Evan, Eriksson, Lindelof are not yet replaced. Maybe next summer. Look, I would say, Chandinga, that's absolutely correct. Maybe Man United need another defender, but I'm really excited to see Aiden Heaven getting more chances. I'm excited to see Yoro. I just think that Yoro and Aiden Heaven can form such a great partnership. I really do. I'm really excited about it. I look at those two players and I see two players, mate, that were going to be there for a very long time, are going to be consistently in our back line for a very long time, guys. Can't wait for it. Ephraim, Sal, did you see Bruno was disciplined yesterday? It's good to see, but not the answer for every game. Ephraim, you know what? One thing I like about Bruno Fernandes, and I'm going to say this, he does give the ball away quite a lot. But obviously, playing in that number 8 position is difficult. It's not the same as playing as the number 10 position. This is what I'm trying to stress for many, many weeks now. But what I would say is that, what I like about Bruno, and I watch Bruno, and I watch most of the players on there, and I watch what they do. I like the way Bruno is giving out orders. He's giving out tactical orders and that's great. The good thing about Bruno, what I take into next season, is that Bruno has won. He's won with Portugal. He's won trophies with Portugal and major trophies, guys. He's won with Portugal. He's done big things. So what I would say about Bruno is that he can use that experience. The problem with Bruno, obviously, he is a little bit rash with his passes. He does pick the wrong pass at times. And this is why when I was talking about the number 8 position, the number 8 position is a specialist position that, you know what, you're born into. You can't just adopt it, so to speak, unless you're Ryan Giggs or obviously Andrea Pirlo or something like that. But what I would say is that best of luck to Bruno next season. He's going to be a Man United player. He's going to be our captain, and we're going to back him to the fore. We're going to back him to the end. And hopefully next season, he deserves a Premier League challenging team, right? And I say that not only because of the ability, but it's also to do with the effort he puts in every single week, right? And that's what I would say. If we're going to keep Bruno, if we're going to play Bruno out of position, reject 100 million, I want to see results next season. I want to see results next season at the end of the day. Asif, Sal, remember we bought Vidic in January. He and Fernandes struggled. Yes, absolutely. And Patrice Evra, don't forget Asif. The following season, they were phenomenal. Rest is history. They was always spending time playing. Exactly. Many players have done that, Asif. Many players over the years have done that. Andy Cole took time in settling down at Man United when he signed for Newcastle United in the January, of course. There are many occasions that has happened. Patrice Evra. I mean, if you listen to Patrice Evra interviews, he would tell you that, you know what, when he first signed for Man United, he was struggling, you know. Thank you so much, Ephraim, you legend. Thank you, mate. Hold on. I'm going to screenshot a picture of Diallo's goal versus City to send in their community. Big up, mate. King Jam, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Are we doing well? Bring in SESKO and RASMUS will shine. Given the opportunity, he deserves another chance. He needed help. I would say, King Jam, let's see. Hopefully, the addition of SESKO would elevate. But I don't think anyone should elevate you. When you're playing for Man United, I really don't think anyone should have to elevate you. I think when you're playing for a team like Man United, you have to shine. You have to make things happen yourself sometimes. You really do. I always bring in scenarios like Ruud van Nistelrooy, for example. Ruud van Nistelrooy get the ball from midfield, take on the whole team and bury it in the corner. Andy Cole will get the ball, chest it down and do a scissor kick from 35 yards to get it in the back of the net. Sometimes you have to help yourself, and these are talking about young players here. Now, it is a different era. It is a different time. I know that. And I really do hope that RASMUS succeeds at Man United. I like him. And I hope that, the addition of SESKO will help him. I think it will. And I think that, looking at SESKO, watching each other, elevating each other in training and things like that might just about help him, of course. Asif, if we get SESKO over the line, who's the transfer window will win the top 6 teams? I'll sure we'll go with United because the European football, we bought the best pair, number 10. I think Man United, if Man United sign a goalkeeper, Asif, I would just say a goalkeeper. I wouldn't even mention a midfielder. I say if Man United sign a goalkeeper, I think we've had a good window, a decent window. I'm content with that. We need a lot more. We need a right wing back. Dalot's not good enough. I'll say it 100,000 times. I don't think Ahmad is the right wing back either. And I think Man United need a right wing back. Man United most likely need a midfielder in there to cover as well, because we've got a lot of slow legs in there, if you know what I mean. We're not quick. So I would say that, I think overall, who's won the window? I think Sunderland have won the window. If you look at what Sunderland have done, they've just signed Granit Xhaka as well. I think they've done very well in regards to who they are, pound for pound. But I would say that Man United, in regards to Cunha and Mbeumo, if we got Cunha, Mbeumo and SESKO, if that was Liverpool, if that was Arsenal, if that was Chelsea, people will be going absolutely mad, Asif. Absolutely mad that, that is, what a front three that is. What a great front three. There's no one better statistically in the number 10 positions last season than Cunha and Mbeumo. And that is a fact. Absolutely. Ephraim. Sal, I want to see the players pressure cooking games. Absolutely. Me too, mate. Me too. Asif, Shaw playing like Shaw because it's World Cup. Absolutely. He always fit before the upcoming international tournament. Look at his history. It's quite a crazy coincidence. I've been saying it 100 times, Asif. Yeah. Luke Shaw entitled to retire from football, get a full-time job, beating Rory McIlroy golf academy. Big up yourself. Big up. Big up Rory McIlroy as well. Big Man United fan, by the way. PSG have signed Lucas Xavier from, they signed in from them, which means that it does look likely that Donnarumma will leave PSG, because I don't think that Xavier or Donnarumma will be fighting for number 1 position. I don't think any one of those players is going to want to sit on the bench. I don't think so. So that does mean that one of them, Donnarumma will be leaving the football club. Who he's going to go to, obviously, it's all up in the air. We have a chance. Whilst he's not at any other club, we have a chance. But Man United have not made an approach yet. Samuel, big up. Casemiro should join Sao Paulo in Brazil. It's his wages, isn't it? It's whether he wants to go, isn't it, at the end of the day? So, which midfield pair will work in big games? In big games, I don't know, mate. Guys, I would stress, right, that the big game, you need big game players at the end of the day. My opinion, a big game, like if we're playing Arsenal or something like that, you need the experience in there. You need the experience in there, and I feel like it will be Bruno in the midfield, and it will be probably a Mainu or Ugarte partnering him. And I think that we can't go much further than that. Man United ain't got much choice, but that is what we will do at the end of the day, guys, absolutely. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens, of course. Who knows? A week is a long time in football, by the way. We can hold on to Garnacho until the right price comes in. United can bear his wages, selling him in a panic situation can haunt us. He can warm the bench. He can. It's not only about him as a footballer, it's him as a person. If he's at Man United, and if you followed his social media over the last few weeks, we don't need any negativity, any bad auras around Man United. This is very important as well. Having a player who doesn't want to play for the football club, he's going to be like, you're going to feel the energy. You're going to feel the energy, and this is very important. I don't see football just as objects, footballers. I see footballers from energy, from influence, toxicity, and stuff like that. We have to understand that, you know what, is he going to be good for the squad? Is he going to be, professional? At the moment, the rumors are circulating that he doesn't want to play for Man United anymore. Do we want that in the squad? With a bunch of young players around, I have to wait and see, at the end of the day. But what I would say, Asif, is that you're right in regards to we can't just accept any deal. That is the double-edged sword, of course. Dang it, I have to subscribe to City channel for one day, post anything there. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it. Subscribe and say, damn, what is this smell? And leave, of course. Paul, good morning. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Good to see everyone, of course, in the chat today. And big up everyone who's been joining me today, of course, guys. Absolutely. Sal, Jamie, Sal, do you know what Sal's drag-on clause is? This club has one. Sal, do you know what a Sal's drag-on clause is? Because, Man United drag on everything. Man United can drag on, all day long at the end of the day. Man United are the house of dragons. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what Man United are, the house of dragons. And we drag on transfers. That's a different twist to the Netflix series, of course. Absolutely. SD, Everton and Liverpool don't need to be replaced. They're already taken by other players last season. They rarely play. And just running down their contracts. Big up, Hesty. By Z-Way, of course, guys. Absolutely. Jamie, you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it and molded it. Absolutely. Big up, mate. Tom Hardy's Bunny was a good, but Heath Ledger's joke is my all-time favorite Batman villain. RIP to the legend. Absolutely. Great actor. Of course, 51 likes, guys. Can we get to 60 likes by the end of the show, guys? What is going on, guys? Can we get to 60? That is really good. Thank you very, very much, of course. Fire, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my guy. Hope everything is blessed with you, of course. Really good to see the people in the chat. Come on, what's going on, my friend? Mason Mount's best game yet? Do you think, Senior? Do you think that's the? Do you think it's Mason Mount's best game? It was that Mason Mount's best game yesterday. Do you think it was Mason Mount's best game? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a friendly. I don't think we could read too much of it. Big up, Camus. It's good to see you. The weather was terrible during the game. Absolutely. Ahmed, big up, Ahmed. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. The weather was awful, surprisingly, for Chicago. I've been to Chicago in a July before, and it is very, very hot. It was very, very hot. I don't know what happened yesterday, of course. Absolutely. So I have a feeling we will surprise many people. I agree with you that. I sentiment that. I do. So I remember when Rooney and David De Gea wanted to move away, so Alex Ferguson put them on the bench and made them commit to the club. And now they're both Man United legends. They were already legends before that, Asif. At the end of the day, Rooney was already a legend, but Alex Ferguson punished him. He punished them. And you couldn't argue with Alex Ferguson. Unfortunately, Garnacho is not Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney was born in the street. Wayne Rooney is a completely different up here. Completely different at the end of the day. Don't use people as comparisons like Rooney and that. It's like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Rooney. Don't, because they're different people. Completely different people. Winners. Rooney had already won endless Premier League titles and Champions League with Alex Ferguson. And that's Alex Ferguson, by the way. Alex Ferguson. Morning, Brian. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Do you think Højlund has turned a corner? No. I hope he has. In my personal opinion, I don't think he has turned a corner. You know what I mean? I don't. I feel like it's a friendly against Bournemouth, and I wouldn't read too much into it. And I hope, and all I can say is I hope that he does well next season. I hope he scores against Arsenal. That's all I say. I would happily take that goal away and put it against Arsenal, of course. Jamie. So rumours coming out of United to decide for a train the under-21s if they find no club. Sancho crying in the under-21s, we will be there. That would be lovely, wouldn't it, at the end of the day? Absolutely. Last season, Bournemouth killed us. Yeah, in a competitive game, Ahmed. Don't forget we beat Real Madrid 4-1 in a friendly game. Absolutely. Ephraim, Sal, the biggest mistake is letting David De Gea leave on a free and signing Onana. One of the biggest mistakes we've ever made. One of the worst transfers we've ever done. Absolutely, Ephraim. Guys, now I'm gonna look, guys. How long have we got? Right, who was Manchester United's worst ever signing? Now, guys, I want you to think carefully about this. Right, who was Manchester United's worst ever signing? Now, think about David De Gea. David De Gea, we let go for free and we signed Onana for 50 million. Right? That is a very bad transfer. We've also got Sanchez. We've also got, obviously, Di Maria. We've got Sancho in there as well. And I'm talking about proper bad signings, guys. I'm talking about people who have a bad influence on the squad as well. Because people are going to say Juan Sebastian Veron. Juan Sebastian Veron was a world-class player and would walk into this team. He would be Man United's best player if he was in this team right now, right? So what I would say is Juan Sebastian Veron couldn't get in the Man United team because of Paul Scholes and Roy Keane. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So who was Man United's worst ever signing? Pound for pound. Jamie, I can get that into info if anyone wants it. The guy who came and getting me about training in the under-21s. I need that confirmed. Big up. Hope it should. Look, Man United, guys, I want to tell something about Man United. What Man United have done. Man United have entered a off-field clause in the Manchester United's players' contracts. What does that mean? What does it all mean? Basically, an off-field clause is that they are responsible for what they do off the field. So Man United players have to start acting like proper Manchester United players now. So when they're off the field, guys, when they're off the field, they're going to have to behave because they signed a clause in their contract. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Guys, at the end of the day. Yeah. I hope it's true. Come here. Easy. Jadon Sancho, talented. Okay. I agree with Camo. Now, guys, you have to think about this pound for pound. Don't think about Di Maria. Right? Di Maria, right? It was a bad signing. He never wanted to come to Man United. Di Maria never wanted to come to Man United. Di Maria got his house burgled. He has context here. He has context a little bit. Okay. Jadon Sancho went on Twitter and wrote a tweet about Erik ten Hag and left it there for 3 weeks when Erik ten Hag gave him 3 months of work paid. There is no, I mean, in my opinion, there's no one who basically beats Jadon Sancho. Nobody who beats Jadon Sancho. People could call Di Maria a snake. They could call what they want. Di Maria never wanted to play for Man United. Di Maria never went on Twitter and moaned at the end of the day. Di Maria played when he was called upon. Di Maria, at the end of the day, got his house burgled. Keith. No, Keith. No. Keith. They've won league titles. Jemba and Ricardo and Kleberson have won leagues. They won titles. They were not first-team players, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Look at the pound for pound, the influence that they've had on the team, the money that they cost. Jemba and Kleberson cost nothing, Keith. They were nothing, at the end of the day. So let's think about it like that. Pound for pound, the worst. Pound for pound, guys, you can't go further than Jadon Sancho, in my humblest of opinion. You can't go further than him. Absolutely. Jamie, man would be more bothered about PS5 than stolen VL Pico. Absolutely. Ephraim, Sal, why some of our fans make it personal about our players and hates them so much? Let me tell you something, Ephraim, about people. People who lack the intelligence of an open discussion, a debate. Some people cannot grasp the fact that people have different opinion to them, right? If I say something about a player in the Man United team, there will be a player FC that will come at me and say, why are you throwing them under the bus? Stop bullying the players. Stop doing that. When I always call things, obviously, with fairness, I always do. And I look at it for what it is. If a player gave away the ball, I will say they gave away the ball. I won't pretend to make up a scenario. They gave away the ball. So at the end of the day, some people, and especially these days, lack the intelligence, and have far too much ego to change their opinion. They basically don't support the football club. They support their opinion at the end of the day. I was there, Keith, with them, and they were dreadful, but they weren't as bad as Sancho and that, mate. They put in a shift for Man United. They were dreadful. Kleberson was a Brazilian international, had to get in the midfield with the likes of Roy Keane and Paul Scholes. Again, it's very difficult, isn't it? So when you look at that, and Jemba, and when you look at that, you know what? You can't really say they're the worst signings in Man United's history. They were squad players, of course. Worst signing, Murto. Yeah, absolutely. Brian, yeah, but Di Maria didn't want to be there. You're right. He played when called on. Absolutely. People, at the end of the day, people want to talk about Di Maria. Di Maria won a World Cup. Di Maria is a better player than Sancho. Di Maria, at the end of the day, I don't like Di Maria. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. I mean, no one's mentioning Tevez here. Tevez. But the thing is like Tevez won the Champions League with Man United, was part of one of the greatest teams in history, the greatest Premier League teams in history. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Guys, I want to thank everyone who's joined me today. Absolute legends. Really great. Really great for people who joined me today after joining me for the watch along as well. Really appreciate every single one of you. You're absolute legends, of course. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to smash the like on the video. If you could possibly do that for me, let's get the likes up and let's get the subscribers up as well. Remember, 20,000 before Christmas. We're going to try and get to that, of course, guys. Absolutely. And and that's it. Absolutely. Di Maria is a scumbag, burnt number 7 prick. Yeah, absolutely. Di Maria was a snake. Di Maria wasn't the worst though, Asif. He's not the worst. If you think Di Maria is the worst, I don't think you've been watching. Great stream as usual. Thank you so much, Done and Dusted. Thank you so much. Anyone who mentions Di Maria ahead of Sancho, what Sancho did, my goodness me. No one, and he didn't resort to that. Please tell me why Di Maria is, you know what I mean? Why he's worse than Sancho. I don't know. Why he's worse than a lot of players. Had number 7 tattooed his arm a fucking creek. Yeah. At the end of the day, Sancho is worse though. He didn't want to play for Man United. Sancho wanted to play for Man United and he manipulated Man United, Jamie. So he's worse. He's worse. And obviously, Di Maria had his house burgled. He had an excuse, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So there you go. He didn't like Manchester because he had his house burgled. And that is natural, isn't it? At the end of the day, guys, absolutely. Tevez called that Sir Alex Ferguson. He dissed Sir Alex Ferguson, you know? 20,000, no problem, Sal. Big up, Mr. Brian Moran. Thank you so much. We're going to get there, mate. We will get there. Community is growing day by day. Really appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day, great night, great evening, everyone. Of course, guys. Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely, guys. Definitely. Look, at the end of the day, Asif, Di Maria is no saint. No one is saying that, but he's definitely not the worst. He's definitely not the worst. Guys, he's definitely not the worst. There are far worse than Di Maria. Trust me on that one. Guys, yeah, I mean, Sancho is one of them. Sancho got 3 months off work and then wrote a tweet in front of everyone, embarrassed the football club, put the football club in disrepute, disrespected the fans. That is what I'm talking about. Disrespected the great name. Di Maria didn't like us. That was it. And we knew that from the start, basically, from the get-go. And he went to PSG, not because he used us to go to PSG, because PSG weren't that good then. You know, at the end of the day. And I say he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave. Otherwise, he just would have went straight from Real Madrid to PSG. He didn't want to leave Real Madrid, but Real Madrid needed to make some money. Guys, you know what I would say? Thank you again for joining me. I'm going over the time, but it's really get into these chats and stuff. It's really good, of course, to get the differences of opinion. Of course, guys. But yeah, no, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget to smash a like on the video. And also, please don't forget to put your notifications on. Please don't forget to put your notifications on in case anything breaks, guys. Have a great day, great evening, great night, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I'll see you for Chatterbox later on. Take it easy. Peace.